The Mustang Mach-E Rally is a wild ride in all of the best possible ways. It's got a multi-motor setup that pushes out an impressive 700 pound-feet of torque. You're going to find unique white wheels, a pretty unique wing, some cool highlights on the inside, and so much more. I want to unpack the rally version of the ride and ask the question, who is this car for? Pricing for the Mach-E is all over the place. So are you rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive? Are you in the Select, the Premium, the GT, or the Rally trim level of the vehicle? And then other things like paint choices, interior protection packages, and things like that are all going to dictate the price. The Rally trim level in the US starts at a little over 60K versus in Canada, 75. So it is definitely the pricier option in comparison to other trim levels. But if your plan is to go off pavement and have some fun, it's the one to go for, hands down. This Mach-E is in the Grabber yellow, and Grabber is probably the best way that I can explain the reactions I've been getting to this car. It's just grabbing attention. People have complimented the color choices, the wheels. The friends that I've had inside have absolutely loved the performance of the ride as well. Inside of the Mach-E, there are a series of different wheel sizes and styles available. Inside of the Rally, though, you have a 19-inch white wheel, and the look of it is so different. There are some small black highlights that give it a nice contrast, and while white wheels may not work on every car in every paint color, this one actually does work fairly well, and it's one that I've actually been getting compliments on all week. One thing that sets the Mach-E GT as well as the Mach-E Rally apart from the rest of the Mach-E lineup is the inclusion of the MagneRide damping system. And the MagneRide damping system essentially is magnetic particles inside of the actual suspension system. So as you take harder corners, it just grips so nicely. So nicely in comparison. And this isn't even in the Rally Sport mode, because when you get into the unbridled drive mode, it gives you the option as well for an additional mode, and that's Rally Sport. Better for off-road performance side of things, but it just makes the overall handling and the responsiveness even better. Because you get into the unbridled mode, that unlocks, I would say, more of like the truest performance inside of the car. But when you get into the unbridled, the Rally Sport is incredible. I can't wait to try to get this car again for the springtime or summer in order to do a little bit of light off-roading with it. But this is so good. Oh, the handling. Oh, it's so responsive. This is such a blast. Oh, I love it. Like, obviously I'm in a residential area, so I'm not going to push it anywhere near as hard right now as you would if you were off-road or on a track. But just to give you an idea, I mean, you kind of saw me leaning into the turn there as I went. Like, this car hugs the road so incredibly well. And the one thing to consider is that it's wintertime right now. So this car has winter tires on it. So you throw a good set of summer tires on there, like some high performance tires, if you're keeping it on the road and not going like off-road adventures. It's incredible in comparison. Inside of the Mach-E, there are different battery setups that are available, different motor setups as well. The Rally version of the ride has the largest battery available. It's a multi-motor setup, and it's essentially got a performance upgrade as well. So you're looking at 480 horsepower, which is okay, but a ridiculous 700 pound-feet of torque instead. So getting from that 0 to 100 can be done pretty quick, especially when we get into the unbridled mode. And we've got to get back up to highway speed. Let's go for it in 3, 2, and 100. So good. And the other thing to consider is that it's wintertime, so this car has winter tires on it. The grip that you get, the handling that you get is incredible inside of this ride. I love it. It's so good. Big smiles all around. Anybody that I've driven in this car said the exact same thing. I put my foot down and they're like trying to grip. It's hilarious, but it's such great performance that you get. Is it overkill? Yeah, like a little bit. But if you're the type of person where you love performance inside of your cars, that's something that you really demand and you really appreciate, you're gonna like what's inside of the Mach-E Rally. But like I was saying, if you're never gonna go off-road or off pavement, if that's not a thing, you can save yourself cash by going for the regular GT instead. There is the option for the GT with the performance upgrade, which gives you even better handling, or performance I should say overall. Similar to the rest of the Mach-E lineup, charging is done just along the driver's side. And it's got support for level 1, level 2, and level 3 DC supercharging. The overall charge times are going to vary based off of so many different factors. Are you level 1 or level 2 charging? Or are you level 3 DC supercharging? And then what's the power draw that you get from your source as well? I don't have a level 2 charge station at home, so it's strictly a regular wall plug that's averaged out to about 1 kilowatt hour. The Mach-E, you're going to find either a 72 or a 91 kilowatt battery instead. The Rally has the 92, which means that at a 1 kilowatt hour draw in perfect conditions, I'm looking at 92 hours in order to go from 0 to 100%. So it does take quite a lot to fully charge up the Mach-E when you look at just a regular wall plug. But whether you go for a level 2 station is going to depend on your own personal circumstances. Like, how far do you drive? Because if you're only driving 10, 20 kilometers or 10, 15, 20 miles per day, a level 1 charger is all that you'd need. But at the same time, if you're driving 50 or 100 kilometers a day, or let's say 60 miles a day, you might want to look at a level 2 charge station. But we're in Canada and there's snow all over the place right now, so the actual weather is going to determine how fast the car charges up. In colder conditions, not only does your range get affected, but your overall charge times get affected as well. Inside of the Mach-E Rally, you're looking at a maximum range of 280 miles or 451 kilometers, but that's in ideal conditions. I found fully charging up, it's given me about 370-ish roughly kilometers, which means that it's about a 20% haircut right off the get-go. And that's pretty accurate from a longer term Mach-E drive that I did over the last couple months as well. So that's something to consider, is that inside of electric vehicles, your range does get negatively impacted in colder climates and charging does take longer. So general rule of thumb is that it's going to take you about 20% longer to charge and your range is going to be 20% negatively impacted too. So that's something to consider if you live somewhere in colder climates. Style-wise, the Mach-E Rally does have a pretty solid look overall. I love the LED headlamps that you're going to find inside of the ride. There's sequential turn lights, and then the pony in the front end of the Rally and a few other trims glows beautifully at night. And then technology-wise, in the front end, you're going to find the forward sensing system and a front-facing camera. So this does have a full 360 view available, and then a lot of other great driving safety features too. You can disable most of those if you really don't want them though, which is definitely a benefit. But I love the grabber yellow paint inside of this ride. It's just so bold. It's like, pay attention to me. I love it. And especially when you look at that decal over the top, nice matte highlight in the very middle of the grille. And then the lip on the lower part is solid. The design elements that Ford included inside of the Rally, it just works inside of this car. Underneath the hood of the Rally, there is zero difference between the Rally version of the ride and every other trim level of the Mach-E. You've got some functional frunk space, a little light, there's a release just in case somebody gets locked inside of the frunk, there's a pony along the top of the hood, and then wiper fluid top up there as well. If you're the type of person where you tend not to maintain your cars, an electric could absolutely be worth it because the maintenance cycle is very different in comparison to a regular internal combustion engine. Then the warranty inside of the Rally, exact same across the Ford lineup. So your basic is going to be a 3-year, 36,000 mile, 60,000 kilometer. Powertrain gets bumped up to 5 years, 60,000 mile, 100,000 kilometer. And then the electric components are covered for 8 years. And then your 100,000 mile, 160,000 K, which is pretty solid. And you always have the option of increasing your warranty at time of purchase if you really want to. Some of the rear end styling of the Rally is going to be the same as you're going to find in the rest of the vehicle lineup. LED tail lamps in the back, which glow nicely at night. I love the sequential turn lights there. Technology-wise, you're going to find the reverse park sensing system along with a backup camera and the rear wiper. And then the one thing that sets the Rally apart from the rest of the Mach-E lineup is going to be the wing. And the overall style of it is great. Aerodynamics is where that would come into play. So at higher speeds, it's going to help you hug the ground a little bit more. It just gives it such a nicer look in comparison. Getting into the trunk of the Mach-E can be done so many different ways. You can utilize the Sync4 infotainment system to do it. Just above the license plate, there's also a button there that you can push. And then you can also utilize the key fob in order to do it too. Up it goes, simple process. I like it. Then you can see this one has the available cargo shield. And then this one also has the thermoplastic rubber tray. So if you're gonna go somewhere where things might get a little bit messy, a little bit muddy, having that tray is so much easier to clean off in comparison to the regular carpeted liner instead. Nothing off to the left-hand side. Off to the right, there's a 12-volt power point, and then there's a light as well. And then lifting up the tray, you're going to find the inflator kit, and then there's also the charge cable too. Well, before we get to the charge cable, so the inflator kit is available there. So if you ever puncture a tire, you could try sealing it up yourself. But one of the benefits of being a Ford owner is that you have access to roadside assistance. So you just call an 800 number, they can help out with tire changing, lockout services. If the vehicles die, they can give you a boost there too. So there are different options. It's available for 5 years in the Ford world. But like I said, this has the charge cable under here too, and that's going to be an option that you buy right from the factory. It's got support for a level 1 and for level 2. And then on top of that, the brick is IP67 weather rated. So if it gets wet, if it's in snow, whatever the case may be, it'll be fine. You can charge this car up in any weather condition, which is useful. Very similar to the rest of the Mach-E lineup, folding down the second row seats is going to be a manual process. You should be able to reach it from the trunk, but if you can't, you can easily do it from the second row. But there's a button you're going to push in order to fold that seat down, and you might have to push that first row seat forward a little bit, just depending on how far backwards they are. But there's a great amount of space that you get inside of this ride, and I love it in comparison to the regular Mustang. As much as I love that Coyote 5-liter, this functional space that you get inside of the Mach-E is great. You get a good amount of cargo space, usable second row space too, which is just something you're not going to find in that 5-liter. And the cargo measurements that you are looking at, specifically behind the first row, are going from right where that liftgate would close to just in behind the little armrest between the first row seats. So if those seats were forwards or backwards a little bit, you'd gain or lose a little bit of extra space. But there's a solid amount of space inside of this ride. Compared to the regular Mustang, the Mach-E is a little bit bigger. I'm 6 feet tall, just for reference, but I can see over this car, but getting inside is not difficult by any stretch. First row is easy enough. Second, equally as easy. And if you need them, there are assist handles across all 4 doors. Inside of the Rally, you're going to find power folding side view mirrors, and then some other neat key fob tricks. But if you want to see those key fob tricks and how they're used, check down in the description of this video for a walkthrough. We saw there, so power folding side view mirrors that feature turn signals and a side mounted camera. They're also auto dimming, and it has a blind spot view monitoring system. So if somebody enters the blind spot on either side of the vehicle, it's going to highlight, letting you know somebody's in that blind spot. You still have the security code, so keyless entry. So you've got the 5-digit number pad in the outside there to get inside. And then, oh, those seats. But before we get there, you've got this nice suede highlight along the door. There's driver seat memory. And then across the Mach-E lineup, these are going to be the same. So you've got your side view mirror controls, window controls with your door button there. Down low, there's some storage. This one has the upgraded audio system on the inside. Nice highlight there along the dash. Dropping down to some basic controls. So you've got your light selector, increase, decrease brightness of the cluster, turn traction control off. There's a manual telescoping steering wheel. This one has the interior protection package, which means that you're looking at the thermoplastic rubber trays instead of the regular carpeted mats. So you can see here, it's wintertime and these things have taken a beating. So cleaning these off, way easier. I love the pedals inside of the Rally. Got this nice scuff plate inside of the vehicle. I'd love to see that highlight. That would be pretty cool, especially in the higher trims. There's a power adjusting seat here too. And then there's a sport bucket Rally seat inside of the ride. Ooh. Oh yeah, let's do a start up here. Okay, while that's starting up. So I'm 6 feet tall for reference. And with the, there we go, all right. So with the driver's seat as far down as it's gonna go, up overhead, I've got 3.5, almost 4 inches of headspace there. I'm 6 feet tall for comparison. So if you're 6'4", you'll probably comfortably be able to sit inside of this ride. The one thing that I love about the Rally, the seat comfort is so good. And it absolutely comes in handy if you're going to be doing some slightly more aggressive driving. So if you're going to be cutting left, right a little bit faster, it's a really, really useful seat. That sport bucket seat hugs the body so nicely and it's really comfortable. I like it. I love the highlight there on the outside of the seat. The white highlight, driver passenger side, looks great. And that goes across the steering wheel here too. This is matte highlight. You're not going to find at any other trim level of the Mach-E. This is great. There's no head-up display and any trim, but you've got that digital cluster screen. There are cameras here, so it's not flickering right now, but cameras that are there, those are watching your eyes, and that's part of the BlueCruise hands-free driving system. But I said, if you want to walk through, like you want to know how to use cruise control, use BlueCruise, if you want to know how to use the infotainment system, the cluster, things like that, you'll find walkthroughs down in the description of this video. But it's nice. I love the steering wheel here, the Mach-E. It's super comfortable. It would be nice if there was a flat bottom wheel in the Rally, but still, it's good overall. You've got that same highlights you see along the dash there. It follows through, and it goes through here, all the way throughout, as well in that suede highlight down low, follows through at the door there. The infotainment system here is so feature-packed. Like there are so many things. You've got support for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay that are wireless, but they're backwards compatible. So if you wanted to plug in over a USB, you could. Stingray, so there's karaoke available there. A lot of different entertainment sources, including the flexibility of being able to watch videos right inside of the system here too. You've got a bunch of different games and things like that as well. Looking at features, you've got a series of different driver assistance features. There are different performance options here. So you've got Whisper, which is more of like a relaxed drive, versus Unbridled for the best possible performance that you can get. But inside of the Rally, there's this Rally Sport option here too. And what that's going to do is kick it up a notch and a half. So better suspension, but it's essentially going to be for off pavement. So if you're going off-road, that's when you want to use the Rally Sport, but Unbridled gives you the best possible performance that you're going to get inside of the ride. Like I said, feature-packed, series of driver assistance settings, options for cruise control, things like that. There's a 360 camera, so a little basic view there, forward view, front view. As you switch into reverse, you've got a series of different reverse views too, so a wide view there, and then this one, because you've got the forward reverse park sensing system, you can see those little sensors along the top. So if you get closer to obstacles, it'll beep at you to let you know. But it's great. You've got AM, FM, Sirius XM. If you had a USB stick with MP3s, that would be available as an audio option here too. So you've got a series of different media choices. So I've got a USB stick there. Inside of the Mach-E, there are 2 different speaker choices that are available. So it's either a 6-speaker setup or there's the upgraded 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen instead. So you've got speakers all over the place inside of this version. So let's go ahead and let's listen to some audio here. And the audio that you're listening to is coming right out of the microphone. And let's go through and let's go this song here instead. Feels like nobody's right, yeah. So I'ma figure out what else we succeed in. I mean, that I think is pretty solid. I need whatever the hell can make me happy, and I don't think it is such cranking audio inside of this ride. Now, one thing, I do have MP4 files that are on here too, so a video format. It unfortunately doesn't play video files through USB yet. That is absolutely one feature that I would love to see inside of Ford vehicles, especially because there's video playback support through YouTube. So being able to watch video here, I think would be great. You're going to find dual zone climate control on the Rally, strictly heated first row seats. I'd love to see ventilated inside of the Mach-E lineup too, but not here right now. There's a heated steering wheel, with the heated steering wheel being all the way around. And then one cool thing, through your phone, you'd also be able to essentially remote start. So you could turn climate on to precondition the cabin, and you can even set different preconditioning schedules and things like that right through the infotainment system here too. So if you leave at the same time every day, you can have that set up. All of your climate control settings are baked into the screen. You can control the majority of the settings using the voice command prompt on the steering wheel. So you can do things like change songs, radio stations, navigate using your voice, adjust your climate as well. Mentioned there, so you've got a few USB power points. So there's a USB-C, USB Type A with a wireless charge pad. Down low, there's a little bit of storage as well. You're gonna find some cup holders, rotary dial shifter. One thing that I like about this is that if you're in any gear outside of park, when you go to turn the car off, it automatically is going to drop you into park. You've got a little P button here. In previous gen, that would be for park assist, but there's also navigate to parking, which essentially is going to let you know what parking is around your end destination. Got your forward blinkers, electronic parking brake. So you're going to push down in order to, there we go. Yeah, so pull up to turn it on, brake, push down in order to turn it off. We've got this little slider tray, very similar to the rest of the Mach-E lineup with a 12-volt power point down there. The glove box is non-lockable. It's got a decent amount of space. Overhead, you've got a little sunglasses holder. You've also got basic controls here for your cabin lights. And then there's the option for the full panoramic roof inside of the ride too. So it's fixed into place, but I mean, it opens things up nicely. I actually kind of like it without the roof though. Wow, what do you think? I'm so used to seeing the Mach-E with the roof, to see it without is kind of neat. But I mean, in a rally car, having a roof may not make the most sense, just in case you flip the car. Overhead from there, you've got your HomeLink system, so you can program a garage door opener if you've got one at home. There's also a little ticket receipt holder on the outside there. And on the inside, there's a little vanity mirror that has lights built in. And then this little feller also stretches out to block all of the sun that might be hitting your face. Nice. You've got that little assist handle there, and then the overall visibility that you get inside of the ride is great. The pillar across the side doesn't block too much as well. But I gotta say, the color combo, but the seats, I love it. The overall style there, I think is great. I love that little badge inside of the seat. Second row wise, got a little speaker along the door with that same suede highlight. Basic controls to your windows, a little bit of storage down low, and then the same style seats on the inside here. Thermoplastic rubber tray down low. But yeah, I love that. Oh, that white color is great there. I love the contrast. All right, now, with the driver's seat set up for myself being 6 feet tall, so they would normally drive, inside of the second row here, I've got a good amount of headspace. I can fit back inside of a Mustang, which is good, but maybe half an inch or an inch of headspace, so not a ton of space, but I can actually sit back here versus a regular Mustang. There is a 0% chance somebody that's over 6 feet tall is sitting in the second row of a regular Mustang, and 6 feet, you'll probably be okay in the second row of the Mach-E, but I've got a good amount of knee space and foot space back here too. There's no hump in the middle seat, so shooting over, not bad. A little tight, but I mean, I could fit back here too. Down low, you can see there, you've got some vent controls along with 2 USB Type-C power points. The vent controls here would be tied to whatever the driver's side set up for. Overhead, you've got a little handle, hook, and a light along the passenger side. That's the exact same here. So a little handle, hook, and a light too. So very useful if you are rally driving or if you're giving it a little bit of gas. It's great. On the seat, you've got all of your anchor points, and then the tethers are behind the seats there if you need it. Wow. Cup holders are built right into the seat there too. And then a little cargo protector. Covers things off pretty nicely in the back there. But the space back here is good. It's nice and simple. It would be good to see heated second row seats inside of the Mach-E, but still, I'm not going to complain for the features that you do get. And some en route handling here. 700 pound-feet of torque. This car is so incredibly responsive. Technology-wise, like I absolutely love the BlueCruise system. Like full hands-free driving is fantastic. But if you are in a Mach-E or you're thinking about one, I've put together a little walkthrough video explaining how the BlueCruise system works, how you can enable it, disable it, etc. So if you want to walk through on that system, you'll find it down in the description of this video. But it's such a cool system. Such a good system. Oh. Let's get these rally. Ooh, ah. It's so good. It's so incredibly good. Just the way that it comes out of turns, like so well. Oh. Ford, you've done such a good job here. It's such a good job. That's it. This is a fun car. It's a fun electric. Overkill for sure, but you still get a good amount of range. The all-wheel drive system is phenomenal inside of this car. Great overall. And let's do a little bit of responsive handling here. Again, winter tires, but even still. On pavement handling there. Oh, I love it. Gotta do a little 360. Oh, this car's a blast. Oh, I love it. And that was a look at the Mustang Mach-E Rally. So the most ridiculous version of the Mach-E, but definitely the most fun in comparison to the rest of the lineup. The regular GT and the Rally are kind of neck and neck from a basic performance perspective, but if you're planning to go off pavement, you want to get some gravel, sandy conditions, the Rally, absolutely the way to go. And it's also pretty unique and kind of cool at the same time. But you can find all of the build details for this specific Mach-E down in the description, along with all the tech walkthrough videos. So how to use the steering wheel buttons, the cluster, BlueCruise, the infotainment, and everything else down below. But if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone if you think they might find it helpful. And until I see you next time, take care. So much different than other things that you're going to find. But inside of the Rally, that's kicked up a notch. So it's got the MagneRide damping system 2, which essentially, 2, put at 1. On top of that, it's got the thermoplastic rubber tray back here too. If you're going to go places like hikes, things are going to get mussy. But overall, you get a solid amount of space inside of this ride. Mother. No, what? Now you're gonna close. One thing that sets the Mach-E GT and the Rally apart from the rest of the Mach-E lineup is going to be the MagneRide damping system. And what that, dude, you have the right of way. You literally have the right of way. What are you doing?